Today, we are going to talk about the difference between accent and pronunciation, whether it's important to sound like a native speaker, and how to enhance your pronunciation. My name is Ania, and you are listening to the first episode of Umiem po angielsku. Is correct pronunciation important? Over the years of teaching the Polish and English languages, I've realized that some of my students couldn't care less about acquiring the correct pronunciation. But is it really an issue here? Imagine this. There is a foreigner approaching you, and they are trying to communicate with you in your native language. Of course, you know your native language very well. You know how to pronounce certain expressions, sentences, and words. So when the foreigner is trying to communicate with you and they are not using the correct pronunciation, you might find it pretty difficult to understand what they are saying, although you are trying really, really hard. But does it mean that you or they are stupid? No. Absolutely not. It just means that learning the correct pronunciation is pretty important while learning languages. So pay attention to pronunciation. My time learning them. Of course, if you acquire an accent, it might help some native speakers understand you better. But be wise choosing your accent, because some native speakers don't understand other native speakers of the same language. Correct pronunciation. On the other hand, I have met those who are truly interested in acquiring the British or American accent. So what is the difference between those two things? I mean, pronunciation and accent. According to the Oxford Learner's Dictionary, pronunciation is the way in which a language or a particular word or a sound is pronounced, whereas accent is a way of pronouncing the words of a language that shows which country, area, or social class a person comes from. In other words, pronunciation is a correct way of saying words which allows other people to understand you, whereas your accent gives you away. What I mean is, an accent tells everyone around you where you come from, whether you're Polish, English, American, Spanish, or Italian. And there are three things I want to talk about today. The first thing is active listening. But how can listening be active, right? By listening, I mean listening to podcasts, audiobooks, interviews, and watching TV series or movies. Better than the latter. Certain sentences, words, and phrases are pronounced to write certain words, but they have no idea how to pronounce them. For that reason, using transcriptions might come in handy here. There's also one attached to the episodes you are listening to right now. During your listening practice, follow the text, but remember that your main focus should be on listening. So basically, it's like learning new melodies. Times. I bet you sometimes look at the lyrics. So first comes listening and then producing sounds. Second thing is self-recording. Why? Because it's usually easier to notice other people's mistakes than your own. It's exactly the same with pronunciation. After listening to podcasts, audiobooks, and blah, 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 choose phrases and sentences and record yourself saying them. When it's done, compare it with the original version. If everything is great, you can go on to record other phrases or do whatever your heart is telling you at the moment, and you can live your life peacefully. But if there are mistakes in your recording, you may want to improve it. Practice it a little bit, record it over and over and over again until it's good enough. Remember to keep comparing it with the original version. The third thing is IPA. IPA stands for International Phonetic Alphabet. Each sign of this alphabet represents one sound in human languages. Keep in mind that each word, phrase, or sentence can be written phonetically. So learning how to read this alphabet will allow you to master the pronunciation of not only one, but all spoken languages. Isn't it amazing? Okay, is it time-consuming to become proficient in IPA? Yes, it is. Is it the only way to master correct pronunciation? No, it isn't. Is it worth it? In my opinion, definitely yes. All things considered. Accent and pronunciation are not the same. Pronunciation is how we say words. Accent tells others where you are from. Acquiring a native-like accent is not necessary to become proficient in a language of your desire. It's okay to make mistakes. You may improve your pronunciation by active listening, self-recording, and using the International Phonetic Alphabet. And remember to set realistic goals, because practice is more important than perfection. Thank you so much for listening, and take care. Cheers.